Welcome back to the show, everybody. We have Jen Avis, nutritionist extraordinaire, with us. Thank you for being here.
It is good to be here. And you know, last week we talked about vegetables and how pretty much for diabetes they're free. And this week we're going to talk about starches.
Right.
And of course, diabetics have to focus more specifically on portions, but you know, starches are not always created equal.
Right.
And in our minds, a lot of times we take a healthy starch and we think it's not even a starch when it can have quite a few carbs.
Right.
Such as I brought cans, I brought dried beans. Dried beans, peas, butter beans, those are starches. But they're more, I would say, healthier in that they're slow and they have a lot of fiber.
Okay.
And other people, as far as diabetes, they try to look for something that doesn't have any sugars or added sugars, and then they forget to focus on the carbs. And starches, even the healthy ones, you know, sweet potatoes, they have 15 grams of sugar, and they're about a 50 on the glycemic index. So they're not necessarily a slow carb. They're just a little bit slower than the regular baked potato, but you're still getting the same amount of carbs. And then I wanted to point out, I brought hamburger buns. You've got white bread and wheat bread. If you look at the total carbs, they're about the same. If you look at the fiber, it's about the same. But in terms of how it's going to go into a person's bloodstream, is much, much faster for the white bread.
Okay, and that's what makes the biggest difference.
Yes, and that distributes more weight to the middle, which predisposes somebody for diabetes. Or if you're diabetic, you get a much, much quicker rise in the blood sugars.
So you want to look for things that will dissolve a little more slowly into your system.
It's healthier.
Okay.
Not that you never eat anything.
Right.
You know, and I brought a box of Jiffy corn muffin mix because everybody eats that in our area. You've got, per little slice, you've got about a tablespoon of added sugar, not to mention the carbs from the corn meal.
That adds up. It really does.
It does. And so it's not that you don't eat, starches. It's just you don't want your plate to be heavily plated with that. You want really more of the vegetables than the starches.
And when you're looking for some of those items, other items that may not be on this table right now, what other items are good things to look for that maybe dissolve at a slower pace and are healthier?
You know, for instance, baked chips, I'm not a fan of.
Okay.
Now, that's a junky, snacky food, but baked chips, I'm not a fan of. I'd rather, if somebody's going to eat it, you focus on portion. Get the regular potato chip because it's a real food.
Right.
I brought these sweet potato chips. That's a whole food. Now, it's fried. It's still considered a junky food, but it's going to be a much, much healthier choice than like Pringles or just the basic baked chips, because that's a potato mash. Then it's baked. Nothing to slow it down.
Wow, that's very interesting. Thank you so much for breaking all of this down. All these tips will be on knw.com, and we'll have her next week.